my maternal grandmother came over to the United States from Denmark on a boat by herself when she was 14. And she never saw her mother or father again after that.
Watching WCCO television, Minneapolis, St. Paul. All today's news with Don Shelby and Pat Miles. Bud Frayling has weather. Ralph John Fritz has sports. And now, this is the 5 p.m. report.
Many of the ships look like the ones that brought our ancestors into the New York harbor during the past century. The tall ships today made up Operation Sail, the maritime salute to the Statue of Liberty. President Reagan and First Lady Nancy were aboard the lead ship, the USS Iowa. With them, French President Francois Mitterrand and his wife, representing the country that gave us the statue 100 years ago. Good afternoon, everyone. We hope your 4th of July is as festive as the New York celebration.
We have some events here in Minnesota that are also done on a grand scale, but we'll talk about those in just a moment. First, the more enchanting events can come in smaller packages, such as a children's 4th of July parade this morning in Shoreview, a tradition in a neighborhood near Snail Lake since the bicentennial. The kids do their best to dress up in those Uncle Samish-looking costumes. And one of the biggest small-town parades was in Delano, where organizers believe their Independence Day doings are years older than the Statue of Liberty herself. Organizers counted more than 170 units in the parade, from the beauties to the beats. There was even a landlocked version of a tall ship and plenty of music. Delano's fireworks were originally canceled because of concerns about insurance. We'll go ahead, though, but not until tomorrow night.
And now for the Twin Cities' bigger 4th of July events. We'll hear about those with the help of 2 reporters and Dale Dobish in the Channel 4 helicopter, who's got his eyes right now on the crowds and traffic at the Taste of Minnesota. Dale?
All right, Debbie. Good afternoon to both you and Don. Looking right now at the State Capitol Dome, and you can see just beyond the dome there, the big crowds that are out here at Taste of Minnesota. Gorgeous afternoon out here sampling food and listening to the music and so forth. But also tonight, 8:45, the Minnesota Orchestra is going to be out here to perform, and also, of course, free fireworks, everything free to the public. Just a gorgeous afternoon out here, so we'll pass it back to you.
Too bad there's not enough room for you to put down and sample some of the food.
You bet.
Well, earlier, Cindy Hilger was on the ground there for the 4th of July Minnesota-style festivities, and she's in our St. Paul newsroom right now. Cindy?
Hi, Debbie. It was really a sight to see this afternoon as hundreds of people, dressed in all red, all white, and all blue, stood on the steps of the Capitol and formed a living flag. The organizers of the Taste of Minnesota Festival wanted to come up with an idea that could get people involved with the festival. Since it is the 4th of July, they thought what better way than to come up with a human flag. The people dressed in red and white alternated rows on the steps, while those in blue stood on the northeast corner of the steps and held 50 huge stars. It took about half an hour to get everyone in place. Once they were, it was time to sing. The flag held together for about 45 minutes, which in this heat was about all the participants could stand. This is the first time Minnesota has had a human flag since 1896, when folks dressed in red, white, and blue capes formed a flag to dedicate the Landmark Center in downtown St. Paul. Debbie and Don?
Cindy, is that where they got the idea?
No, as a matter of fact, it's not. There was a Garrison Keillor short story where the folks of Lake Wobegon dressed in red, white, and blue and formed a flag on the steps of the high school, and that's where the organizers of this one got the idea.
I wonder if they'll try it again.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Okay, thank you. Don?
All right, now we are going back to Dale Dobish, who happens to be flying over the Capitol, or had been over the Capitol, going on to another 4th of July celebration right now. How does it look, Dale?
Well, Don, we're on our way over to the State Fairgrounds, just crossing over the Como area here now. And tonight, coming a little bit later, of course, is more fireworks and so forth at the State Fairgrounds, Minnesota State Fairgrounds. And right now, there's a picnic going on there with quite a few people. Not a real big crowd right now, but I'm sure they're going to add a lot more later on. Plenty of parking over here. Once again, this fireworks display is, of course, free to the public again this evening. So we'll keep an eye on things out here, and we'll get back to you a little bit later in the show.
Okay. Now, our reporter on the ground out at the fairgrounds is Terry Sater, who yesterday stuffed himself at the Taste of Minnesota Festival. Have you had anything to eat today, Terry?
No, Don, I'm trying to recover out here today. I think I should do a few laps around the racetrack here at the fairgrounds. I'm just watching Dale Dobish fly over right now, that noisy helicopter, but we'll try to go on with this anyway. This year's fireworks display is 4 times larger than the past displays out here at the State Fairgrounds, and they're really expecting a big show tonight. The $25,000 show has taken 8 people 2 days to set up. The fireworks cost $1,200 a minute. This year's 23-minute show will concentrate on aerials rather than the ground displays. So people outside the grandstands will also get a great show. Adults coming to the fairgrounds will have to pay $2.50 to get in, and it's $1 for kids. There will also be music tonight, however. The White Sidewalls and 50s group will be playing at the Bandshell at 7, 8, and 9 o'clock. And the American Brass Review with more traditional American tunes will also be playing at Baldwin Park over in Machinery Hill, and they'll also be playing at 7, 8, and 9. So if people bring their kids out tonight, they're going to have a great time out here. The weather is just beautiful. It's a little hot, but there's a nice breeze blowing. And the company putting together the fireworks display, we might add, is from Excelsior, Minnesota. This is not the only show they're putting on today. They have 60 shows they're putting on in a 3-day period, including a big show in Duluth. And they also have one show in Aspen, Colorado that is even bigger than the show here at the State Fairgrounds. That show is running almost $1,500 a minute. Don?
How is it you get all the fun assignments? Do you have an in with the assignment desk or something?
I don't know. I'm just having a great time, though. I suppose I should give somebody else this duty once in a while, too.
Okay. Thank you, Terry.
This weekend's focus on Lady Liberty reminds most of us that we're not too far from our immigrant roots. We live in a melting pot, which makes us all Americans. But today we found many 4th of July celebrants thinking of themselves as being German American, or Polish American, or Norwegian American. Here's Marcia Fleur.
Elton Johnson isn't sure which African country his ancestors came from, but his American roots began in Tennessee. His wife, Marion Olsen Johnson, claims pure Norwegian heritage. Their daughter, Lorraine, they say, will be taught all about both sides of the family and also told that first she is an American. Kathy and Tony Browse will also teach their child about his heritage. Tony's ancestors came from Germany, and so did Kathy's.
I've been looking it up recently, and as best I can tell, I'm from a family of peasants who, as far as I can tell, they rowed their way here from this when they got off the boat.
Family history, we found, doesn't mean much to the young, while the old aren't far from their ancestors' immigrant past and still can be moved by the old stories.
My mother came to Morris, Illinois. That's where they settled, and then they moved west to Covered Wagon to Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And naturally, the group that kept going west and west, you know, that's the way to settle the West.
Almost everyone we talked to had a sense of awe akin to ancestor worship about the men and women who gave up everything they knew to risk the new life in America.
My great-great 10 times, if you count it off on your fingers, grandmother was hanged in Boston. She was a Quaker, and because of this hanging, they stopped hanging Quakers.
Being of polyglot heritage in this country can be rather a mixed blessing. My fraternal grandfather, for instance, came over from Budapest, Hungary in the 1890s. And according to family lore, he was Teddy Roosevelt's tailor. My mother, who is half German and half Irish, has always claimed that Hungarians would lie when the truth would sound better, and that story was made up. But frankly, I prefer to believe I do have a connection to Teddy Roosevelt. This is Marcia Fleur, WCCO Television News, Minneapolis.
Some people prefer the taste of Coke, and some people prefer the taste of Pepsi, but some people go out of their way for the taste of RC.
Summer salads from Perkins. They're music to your mouth.
Catch the rising stars on the showplace of success. The $1.5 million Star Search 86. See the best of the brightest new performers with host Ed McMahon and Gimme a Break's Thelma Hopkins. It's an exciting, surprising, fantastic hour of entertainment. Careers are being launched and fortunes are being made on the musical variety extravaganza that's reaching for the stars and catching them. The $1.5 million Star Search 86.
Star Search, Saturday night at 11:05, here on Channel 4.
A tornado ripped through the small northwestern Minnesota town of Purim early this morning. The twister hit without warning at Babe's Resort, where 100 members of the Siegel family were staying for their family reunion. High winds tore an awning from the resort's restaurant and toppled several trees, but no one was injured. Purim is 150 miles northwest of the Twin Cities. Star of stage, screen, and radio, Rudy Valley died at his California home last night while watching the Statue of Liberty festivities on TV. He was 84. Valley burst onto the jazz scene with his version of the Whiffenpoof song.
We are poor little lambs who have lost our way. Ba, ba, ba.
During the 1930s, Valley starred in the Fleischman Radio Hour, radio's first variety show. The singer later appeared in movies including Gentlemen Marry Brunettes. In the 60s, he performed in the Broadway musical How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. Rudy Valley, as we said, dead at the age of 84. Yep.
A bomb went off outside a crowded supermarket in Johannesburg, South Africa today, injuring at least 20 people. Eyewitnesses say 2 women lost their legs in the blast. It is the 13th bombing in South Africa since the government imposed a state of emergency last month. Nobody claimed responsibility for the blast. Other stories in brief today. Several thousand gay marchers temporarily disrupted the Statue of Liberty celebration today in New York City. They protested this week's Supreme Court ruling that upholds state laws against sodomy. The homosexual activists chanted civil rights or civil war and sat down in the middle of a crowded street. 5,000 anti-American protesters marched on the U.S. Embassy in the Philippines today. The occasion, Filipino-American Friendship Day, a national holiday there. Riot police greeted the crowds with gunfire and tear gas. At least 2 protesters were seriously injured. More than 1 million people listened to Pope John Paul II yesterday as he continued his week-long trip to Colombia. The pontiff told the cheering crowd that the rich must now help the poor. Today, the Pope traveled to a fishing village to celebrate Mass. Don?
The handicapped are paid millions by the government each year because some are unable to work to support themselves. But a new program may get work for these people. It involves a voice-activated computer that can be directed by the quadriplegic or the paraplegic to perform tasks that he or she cannot at this time. With us today to talk about this is psychologist Philip Haber, who has started the program at the Metropolitan Medical Center. Welcome to our program, Dr. Haber.
Thank you very much.
This is a computer that the paraplegic or quadriplegic can talk to and instruct?
That's correct. The quadriplegic is the one who would need it because he doesn't have the use of his hands, but that's correct.
So what would one tell this computer, and then what would the computer do when told?
Well, as you're seeing on this, you'll be seeing on the screen, the young man is going to say, "Listen to me," and the computer is going to say, "Okay," and he's going to be able to command and instruct and manipulate the computer and its programs to his use and to do actual work.
But not physical tasks as we would understand them. Not to go take out the garbage, but it would rather do record-keeping functions and things like that.
Record-keeping, survey, order-taking types of functions.
And that can translate into getting these individuals gainful employment in such fields as what?
Well, in this particular case, we've been working on one that will have the computer operator, the quadriplegic, actually conduct a survey, a quality control survey for a local dealership who would like to know how their customers perceive their service.
So the individual can tell the individual can tell the computer to dial a telephone number?
That's correct.
And keep records on what the answers are?
Exactly.
Is this an expensive computer?
No, it's not. The computer itself is $7,500, and this is the first year it's been offered, and as you know, computers drop very quickly in price. But at $7,500, it's not an expensive piece of hardware.
How does one go about getting one?
Well, the corporation Kurzweil Applied Intelligence in Waltham, Massachusetts is one of the companies that manufactures these computers, and I think they're probably ahead of the other of their competitors by some.
But you at Metropolitan Medical Center wrote the program that's currently being used.
That's right.
Now, there will probably be lots of people in the audience tonight saying, gee, I'd like to be employed in such a fashion. How do I go about getting involved in such a program?
From the moment, I guess I would advise them to sit tight. The first program is just off about a week ago, and so it's too early for anybody to say, gee, there's a job out there, but we think the technology will create many jobs in the future.
All right, well, will you keep us posted so that we can keep them posted?
I certainly will.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Haber, appreciate you coming on the program today.
Thank you.
Project Lifesaver began its 4th of July weekend effort last night, a goal, a zero road death holiday. But already one person has died in a traffic accident. A Seattle man died in a one-car crash on Interstate 94 near Ashby at 7:30 last night, just an hour and a half after Project Lifesaver officially began. The Highway Patrol says the man might have lived if he wore a seatbelt. Please remember your seatbelt as you drive safely this holiday weekend.
Most hot dogs don't quite make it to the end of the bun, so you're left with the end of the bun.
Here you go, Ralph.
That's why Hillshire Farm created bun-size wieners. Kids like them because they taste great. Moms like them because they're made with quality cuts of beef and pork. And they're longer, so they fit the bun better. You get a bite of hot dog for every bite of bun.
Sorry, Ralph.
Bun-size wieners from Hillshire Farm.
Just look for this nice young man on the label.
Burger King announces a double deal. The Double Deluxe Meal Combo.
Double or nothing, that's how I play. Got a great new taste and I got it my way.
Try the great new taste of a Double Deluxe with melted cheese and bacon, large fries, and a medium drink for a special price.
This is a Burger King town.
The Double Deluxe Meal Combo. A great meal at a double great deal. Don't miss it.
We know how burgers should be.
No one else is clapping, John. The neighbors are just standing there. They're not clapping.
That's one of those things, for those uninitiated, that you do every year since the Statue of Liberty came here, I think.
That's right.
Because you were a former bugler?
For a brief period in the Army, I was a bugler.
You could recognize that.
They also serve blueberry muffins, but he didn't bring us any.
Oh, no. That's supposed to be to the colors, and it works like, see, you invite the neighbors over, and they listen to my playing, then they get a blueberry muffin after that. The blueberry muffins were just delicious.
It was great. It was great
them
this
all.
year.
I was going to bring you a couple. I know, they disappeared just like that. A year ago today, we had a few light rain showers, and the temperature went from 63 to 82. We had a high today on the hour of 89. The coolest July 4th, 1972 in the morning was 43 degrees. And the warmest in the afternoon, 100 on this day in 1949. But 89 has been our warmest on the hour this afternoon. We're at 88. The dew point at 74, the humidity at 63. The breeze is saving us from the south at 15 miles an hour. Pressure steady at 2961. Partly sunny with the temperature now at 88 degrees. And it's mostly clear over the state. Cloudy around Redwood Falls. They're at 91 degrees. 88 at St. Cloud, the metro area, 87 at Rochester. And 60 degrees right now up on the North Shore at Grand Portage. Unsettled weather, at least through the western states today. A strong storm system off the North Pacific coast has spread rain to the northern plateau, the northern Rockies, and to central Montana. There is a winter storm warning for western Montana above the 6,000-foot level, with a possibility of 12 inches of snow at Glacier Park by tonight. Heavy thunderstorms down through the northern part of Arizona with flash flood watches there. Isolated thunderstorms in Arkansas and Louisiana and over much of Florida. Some rain to the northern part of upper Michigan now. And in our forecast for the rain outlook tonight, at least a quarter to a half inch from parts of Washington, Oregon, through Montana, Wyoming. Some of that could be snow. A quarter to an inch in most of Florida. Most of the five-state area getting quarter to a half inch with a heavier amounts of rainfall northeastern North Dakota, northwestern Minnesota, and northeastern Wisconsin. So it looks like the heavier rains will stay in the northern part of the five-state area. But we've got this broad cold front. There's really no change in temperature here. and a couple of low-pressure centers to the southwest and west of us to keep a chance of rain in our metro forecast through the weekend. Almost 2 inches of rain in Flagstaff, Arizona today. There was 78 for the high. The hot spot was Needles, California, 102. In the cool air in Idaho, Mullen was 47 today. Topeka, 94. Atlanta, 87. Half-inch rain at Alpena, Michigan, 76 this afternoon. Our forecast for tonight, a partly cloudy, a slight chance of showers, 73 for the low. Southwest winds at 10 to 20. And for the weekend, partly cloudy Saturday, chance of afternoon showers. We'll go to about 93. Southerly winds at 15 to 25. And Sunday, variable cloudiness, still a chance of showers, 87. So it's going to be about 93 tomorrow afternoon with a chance of afternoon showers.
So what do you do for Labor Day?
Labor Day, well, I just kind of take the day off on Labor Day.
All right. Thanks, bud. Oh, you were on the phone here, Ralph. Did we disturb you?
It was Ben Camber at Canterbury Downs.
What did he want?
They need a bugler out there. They wanted to know if Bud could be there by the 7th race.
I heard Cannonball Adderley was retiring, too. You probably get in a couple of jazz licks.
Twins took it on the chin today. 12-7 to Baltimore at the Dome. They've scored about 50 runs in that two-game series thus far. Alan Anderson and Scotty McGregor were the starters. They took a shower before it even started. What a 4th of July highlight package we have. The home run ball was catapulting all over the place today at the Dome. Here's the first, Baltimore second, Freddie Lynn, home run, and it is 1-0 for the Orioles. Third inning, Cal Ripken Jr., always a thorn in the side of the Twins. Home run, a 2-run shot, and it is 4-0. For the Orioles. Bottom of the third, Greg Gagne of the Twins gets one back with a solo shot. Now it's 4-1, folks. The Twins are on the comeback trail. Then, 5th inning, Twins trailing 6-2, Ken Herbig. A tremendous cloud, upper deck, 6-3. That's 15 clear in the upper deck for Herbig. And now it's a home run again, finally spelled the difference. Freddie Lynn, second of the game, upper deck shot, 3-run homer, 12-7 Orioles. And that is the final, folks. We ran out of time yesterday. Are we running out of time again? We aren't going to get our summertime on. Well,
we got all summer to get that on.
We'll try on Monday. We will try them. Lendl and Becker go to the finals at Wimbledon. We'll have that for you at 6 o'clock.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, we have a question. Which is truly the king of beers?
That question is actually the answer, and we'll explain in a moment in a For-Your Money report on beer taste tests.
Time takes you beyond the news.
Time flies and you are there. Time cries and lets you care. You understand the world we share.
This week in Time, Reagan's popularity. Has policy or personality restored faith in the Oval Office? And a restored statue looks on as Liberty Weekend sets sail.
Return and understand.
Honey, did you make the payment on the Isuzu?
No.
Did you pay it last month?
I haven't made a payment on the pickup since we bought it.
3 months without a payment? Does the word repossession mean anything to you?
Make your best deal on any new Isuzu pickup, and your first 3 payments will be paid by Isuzu, so relax.
Hey, Mr. Accountant, did you pay the electric bill?
The Isuzu pickup sale. We pick up your first 3 payments. See your local Isuzu dealer today.
How did America get to be so special? Let Midway show you and your family. Midway Airlines presents the Affordable American Vacation with our American Spirit Metro Miser fares. Visit Chicago, where the prairie meets the sky. New Orleans, where Dixie and Cajun combine. Or Florida's tropical splendor. Call Midway or your travel agent. This is the summer to see America. And we have the fares that make it affordable. Midway.
Our spirit will lift you.
3 and 4 and 5. Just one more routine to go.
Oh, no.
This one helps keep you fit inside.
Fit inside?
It's Kellogg's Bran Flakes. You get lots of fiber to help keep your insides fit and running smooth.
Oh.
And 100% of the iron you need each day.
How do they taste?
Really good. Come on, you'll like this exercise. You just lift the spoon. Kellogg's Bran Flakes does the rest.
Kellogg's Bran Flakes. Take care of the inside.
Well, here's a scene that is likely to be repeated around July picnics, at least. People drinking beer, we hope drinking the beer in moderation. And for those of you who would like the taste of beer, we have a survey that you might like to hear about.
We had what we think are some average beer drinkers take a taste test of both alcoholic and non-alcoholic beers. And our For Your Money reporter Jim Newman joins us now with the results. Jim?
That's right, Debbie. Our panel of beer drinkers was served a domestic beer, an import, 2 non-alcoholic beers, and a light beer. The domestic was Budweiser, one of the most popular beers in the country. You would probably expect that experienced beer drinkers would select a beer like Bud as their favorite, even in a blind taste test. And you would be right. The real surprise in our taste test was the panel members' real confusion over which beers were non-alcoholic and which was the light beer. Now, nobody thought that Bud was alcohol-free. Only 2 persons believed that the import, Heineken's, was a non-alcoholic beer. But 8 of the 15 folks on our beer panel said they thought Miller Lite was one of the non-alcoholic beers in our survey. And some tasters were fooled by the alcohol-free beers and guessed they did have alcohol in them. Our panel was made up of young people in their early 20s, but they were pretty traditional in their preferences. Only 1 person out of the 15 picked a non-alcoholic beer as one of their favorites in the survey, Debbie. Most people seem to think beer really isn't beer unless it has alcohol in it. Still, some taste testers said that they liked the non-alcoholic beers, and so that should give some encouragement to the bottlers of the non-alcoholic beers, which are making a real big push these days to try to get penetration into the market.
Are there a lot of them in the market?
We tested 2, and there are a few others. We tested Caliber and Moosey, and they did okay. Some people actually did prefer those beers. They said they were non-filling. They said that they tasted good, and one woman that was in the survey said that actually she just doesn't like to get a buzz on, and so she prefers a non-alcoholic beer.
It might be kind of hard with that survey. It looked like they were consuming quite a bit of beer.
They did consume a substantial amount in service of our audience.
More on that at 10.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to show you a picture now that Dale Dobish has taken from up in the Live Eye in the Sky helicopter, and we'll be back in just a moment.
The way most supermarkets work, produce goes from here to a shipper who takes it to a distribution center where it sits until it's picked up by another shipper who takes it to the supermarket. That costs you money and freshness. But at Cub, we deal directly with the best growers, so most produce is shipped from here to here. That's how Cub gives you maximum freshness at assured minimum prices. Cub Foods, it's a new way to run a supermarket.
It lurks in homes like this, striking fear in the hearts of millions. And this year, if you're not careful, you might come face to face with it yourself. The wrong paint. Next time, get the right paint. One that always goes on smoothly in one coat. Glidden Spread Wall. On sale now for only $5.99. Glidden. Your paint should be this good.
Imagine, Dave, with your new evening schedule, you've had a lot of time to go out and enjoy the fireworks at night.
From a distance. I distance myself from fireworks. I believe that's wisdom. Sometimes, you know, it does things. Tonight at 6, among other things, we'll point out those places where we can all see the local fireworks tonight. And we will report 2 stories that have not been mentioned here. One is Mike Strand's report on a new Minnesota law, which will mean weaker penalties for those drivers who speed over 55 miles an hour, but remain under 65. And political reporter Pat Kessler had his eye on 4th of July political campaigners today. He'll document the various techniques they use to hunt for votes.
A Channel 4 editorial on immigration reform with Ron Hanberg.
The Statue of Liberty says to the world, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. A message she's been sending for 100 years. Liberty, freedom, access to the American dream. We celebrate these ideals, but the truth is some of us don't live up to them very well. We are a nation of immigrants, yet many would shut the golden door behind them once safely inside. That's not what Miss Liberty is all about. She doesn't discriminate between the Irish and Germans of past generations and the new immigrants from Asia and Latin America. These newcomers risk incredible dangers just reaching our shores. But the most terrifying part of the journey may be the last 50 yards, with the Border Patrol in hot pursuit. And we are sending mixed messages. The woman with the torch calls out to the homeless, tempest-tossed, while in Washington there's talk of using the National Guard, more planes and guns, to halt the human flood from Mexico. We call her Mother of Exiles, yet our government prosecutes priests and nuns for offering sanctuary to refugees. The lady in New York Harbor invites the wretched refuse from your teeming shores, while in Stillwater Prison, 50 Cubans from Castro's boat lift are held indefinitely without criminal charge. Let's get the message straight. America thrives because of immigration, not in spite of it. Let's fulfill more of the Statue of Liberty's promise by legalizing the 2 million undocumented aliens who have been in this country since 1982. Tell your congressman you favor House Bill 1200, because if Miss Liberty could vote, she'd be for amnesty too. I'm Ron Handberg.
We offer equal time for an opposing view.
This is the encore. If you wondered what possibly could match last night's rockets, red glare, salute to the Statue of Liberty, it was this. An unprecedented parade of 22 tall ships, sailing like stately swans past smaller craft, arrayed in fine democratic disorder. A perfect picture for this picture-perfect occasion, honoring the Lady with the Lamp.
Good evening, and what a great day to be an American. This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting from New York Harbor on this grand and glorious 4th of July. Even the weather blessed the Mother of Exiles today. A brilliant sun-splashed day that softened into the promise of another star-spangled evening. The day, which began with an eye-catching sight of tall ships, would end with an ear-popping display of fireworks. And that aside, there was more to take in than the senses could absorb. All of it centered on the honored guest.
America awakened to this 4th of July with the sights and sounds of last night still vivid, still more than memory. That historic moment when the harbor came ablaze with light, spotlighting the Lady with the Lamp. And there were yet more fireworks today, and cannon and horns, all kicking off a waterborne pageant without parallel. There were warships from 14 countries passing the battleship Iowa for review by President Reagan, each booming out a 21-gun salute. And there were the grand and graceful tall ships, the ghosts of a gentler time, the barks and brigantines and schooners and full riggers. And as we covered it this morning, Walter Cronkite was in the thick of it all, aboard the Coast Guard cutter Eagle.
Well, they all let their horns loose a moment ago, as did the Eagle. And I want to tell you that while, Dan, that may be called a cacophony to almost anybody else, this morning it's a symphony to liberty and what this great parade is all about.
And the spectacle didn't stop there. There were the pleasure boats, from speedboats to rowboats. Anything that could float was out on New York Harbor today. By Coast Guard estimate, a grand total of 40,000 vessels. On shore...